All right, hey, what's going on, guys? This is another edition of Bryan Turner and the Bryan Turner Basketball Podcast. What's going on, guys? Here, end of the season, 2024-25 has just finished. We just finished with a great spring break. So this is like my, I ain't gonna say moment of clarity, but it's just the time to kind of review and touch on a few things and kind of see where basketball is going, where the sport is going. Is it growing? Is it growing in the right direction? What does that mean for parents? What does that mean for high school players? What does that mean for grade school players? So kind of want to just take the time real quick. I know it's been a minute, man, since I kind of checked in with everybody, but hey, I was hard at work, man, trying to get stuff done with the squad. We finished the season at, I believe, 17-10, and lost a heartbreaking game to a great Vianney basketball team. Pretty much was up the whole game until like the last 3 to 4 minutes. And our guys wasn't able to pull it off, but at the same time, I mean, this is sports. It's a lot of ups and downs throughout the course of the season. I was just happy and proud of the guys, man, because at the end of the day, it's all about the journey. We learned a lot about ourselves, hopefully that we can be able to take with us moving forward down the road in this game called life. But at the end of the day, what I like to tell a lot of my guys is just when our seniors are walking out the door, I get another group of guys coming in the door. So hopefully everything kind of sunk in and sat in with some of the seniors. And then the stuff that we pretty much talked about all year. Now the real test is what are they going to do once they leave the confines and the confines of the home cooking, of being around the atmosphere of high school sports, having a high school coach that cares a lot about them, and knowing that, hey, if you want to continue to play sports or play basketball at the next level, it's all about business, and you have to be in a position to handle your business first and foremost. Okay. Spring break time. What does spring break look like for the basketball players? What does spring break look like for the coaches? Well, just tell you a little bit about my spring break. I spent a lot of time kind of decomposing, pretty much, like I said, just when you in it and you in it with, tunnel vision and everything is all consumed. Once the season is over with, you got to take a couple days to kind of like, man, get yourself together to figure out what's the next step. And so I kind of took this last week and just doing some things that I hadn't had a chance to do in like all year, like resting, planning as far as what's next, spending some time with my wife, spending some time with my son, spending some time with my family and friends that I hadn't had a chance to speak with or see within like the last, 7 to 8 months. So I think that was good. So spring break looks like for the high school coach is just kind of, hitting the reset button and kind of getting out of the mundane of, a practice schedule, doing the things that you would normally do to now. You got to kind of, I will say refresh, but at the same time, you have to keep your mind on what your job is, but you can't let things consume you to the point where, you miss out on things. So I think within this last week, I took a lot of time to kind of just get caught back up on living life. And so by me living life, I'm able to come back to you guys and kind of convey a message that I think would be very beneficial for the parent, for the player, and also for other colleagues and other coaches. So that's kind of like what spring break looks like for me. What does spring break look like for the player? Hopefully, some of you guys that are underclassmen, you're getting ready to transition from high school season to, hopefully summer ball, AAU style basketball playing on the weekends. And that's all good for you guys to start getting into that, because you have to be able to try to get your 10,000 hours in to perfect your craft. And that's all that we're striving for. I think as a coach, I'm striving for those 10,000 hours. As a husband, I'm striving for those 10,000 hours. As a dad, I'm striving for 10,000 hours to get to the point where you can master something. So as a player, you continuing to play in the off season. And when I mean the off season, I mean March, April, May, June, July, August all the way up until September when school starts, it's very beneficial for you to have a conversation with your high school coach or middle school coach to see what are some of the things that you need to work on in the off season, and what are some of the things that you need to work on that can help you with making your team better. And I think a lot of times, players have a preconceived notion to only worrying about the things that they need to do and not worrying about the holistic style of the game, to where you also have to worry about the things that you can't control, even though I know you should work on the things that you can control, but then also trying to figure out what are some of the things you can't control, and is there a space to where you can try to get things in a space where you can kind of control them. What do I mean by that? Guards. Well, I'm not going to even limit it to guards. Players in the off season, get your team together. And I'm going to say that one more time. Players in the off season, get your teams together. So what do I mean about getting your teams together? The whole notion of team is not just when the season starts, okay? The notion of team is to do everything with your guys. I'm so happy when I got players and other teammates that leave one sport and transition to the next sport, and they do everything like a team at the next sport. Then they go from that sport to doing something again with the next sport as a team. And when you start doing that builds that family bond to where, it's just about, again, the journey, hanging around your guys, being around guys that you're going to see every day, all day. And what that starts to do is that starts to make chemistry a little bit better for us as a team and for you as a player, because it's nothing like being able to be on the same page with one of your players and you give them a look and they know exactly what to do. So I encourage some of you guys, man, to play other sports, and not just stick to playing AAU ball with all of your teammates, but try to play other sports, whether if it's running track with your teammates, playing pickup ball, getting your guys on your high school team together and say, all right, we're going to spend this time going up to the park and just 4 of us, and we're going to play 4-on-4 or 3-on-3 and catch some rec. And then do the same thing at another rec center, or call up some of your buddies that have open gyms at these schools and say, hey, we're bringing our 5 up there. You get your 5 and let's see how we play. And you start doing that. And it's just all about, I like to call it barnstorming. And what do I mean by barnstorming? Taking my 5 guys or 4 guys or 3 guys, taking them places and having them play other people. Go here, go there, go there. Once you start getting the feeling of doing that on a regular basis, when the season starts, we're putting a jersey on and we're going to play these same people that we just got through playing pickup ball with, no referees, and we're going to go hoop. Now it's a different type of story. Chemistry is there. You're doing things on your own. So again, the high school player, get your guys together and go places and play and have some fun with your teammates, and not letting the heartbreak of the season kind of just set in. All right. What are some other things that we can talk about real quick? I kind of hit on the AAU traveling team and summer team, but I'm going to pose this question for a lot of the parents, and I'm going to pose this question for a lot of the players, okay? I want you guys to look at, and maybe just do a quick Google search to see how many players play high school basketball. I mean, ask AI, ask ChatGPT, how many players play college basketball? I did it a little earlier. 500,000 kids, 500,000 kids play high school basketball each year, okay? 1% of that goes on to make it and play at the Division I level. Let me repeat that. Out of 500,000 people that play high school sports, okay? 1% of that will play NCAA Division I ball. That's a wild stat from the NCAA, and it sets the stage to what we're kind of talking about right now. And that is, you spend 4 years playing AAU. But I want you guys to realize that the climate of college basketball is changing. And it's changing right in front of our eyes. And I'm going to challenge the high school parent and I'm going to challenge the high school player to do a little research and see what are some alternatives that you should be doing right now to help you get to that level of what you say that you want your level to be. Because a lot of folks, Division I might not be the level that you want to play at. Okay, I get it. But trying to continue your college basketball career that may be your dream. And so what do you have to do in order to reach that? Colleges are not recruiting high school players. Okay. And I saw that firsthand with the group that I had just this past year, where a lot of guys were being recruited, and they're being recruited for the last 3 to 4 years. And guys had offers, and guys had this, and guys had that. Once these rule changes started coming in, and again, it becomes big money and big bucks to where these high profile programs, these Power 5 schools, are not trying to wait a year for this high school player to develop. So they're doing some things that my coaching staff back when I played in college used to do. And it was this term called red shirt. And red shirt is just basically being on the team, being a part of everything that the team has, but not being able to actually play in games. So what does that do? You're playing and practicing, well, you're practicing all year with the college guys, but you retain your eligibility to where you don't have 1 year striked against you as your freshman year by you not playing. And so what ends up happening is a school can possibly get you for 4 years or 5 years based on this red shirt year. And you're starting to see rules come up every now and then about giving eligibility, 4 years of eligibility to the junior college player. This kid eligibility is upheld, so he's able to come back. So everything is changing in real time. And so I'm going to challenge the high school player and the high school parent to do a lot of research on what do you need to do in order to keep your game alive. And it may be going to a smaller level, playing a year, i.e. prep school or i.e. junior college for a year or two, to get your body ready to get acclimated to what college is like, studying, living on your own, going to class, then practicing and doing it all over again. A lot of folks don't want to take a risk on a player that may not have those things already kind of mastered when it comes to the time where they need to produce. And so a lot of colleges are not going after high school players. And so what I'm gonna need for some of you guys to do is like I said, do research to see what needs to happen in order for me to keep my career going. So that's gonna be a huge thing that I'm gonna have to have conversations about and talk to players about once they start coming in the door, because, I don't have all of the answers. And even when I did have answers, the information that I was giving out a year or 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, is not the same anymore. It's a little different now. So we have to make sure that we are staying informed over what the rules are, staying informed on what access that I can get myself into. And then also, man, having good relationships with people that have people give you their honest opinion. Okay. That leads me to my next point, that during this time of spring break, during this time of March Madness, during this time of end of the year evaluations, guys, it's best, and hear me out, it's best that you start building relationships with your high school coach, building relationships with the Division I, Division II, junior college, any type of level coach, so you can have that rapport with them to be able to talk and maybe pick their brains when it comes down to things. I think the biggest thing to not go into is not being informed of what's going on and then blaming somebody for things that may or may not happen for your child, for yourself, or for some of your players. Okay. Be informed. I think as a college coach right now, or as a high school coach right now, I have so many numbers of college programs and college coaches in my phone that I try to make it my business to nothing else, try to network. Following folks on Twitter and on X and on Facebook and Instagram, leaving comments in the comment sections of some of their posts, liking some of their posts, staying informed on when people's birthdays are, what players they have in their programs, where do the players come from that are in their programs. So these can be talking points if you're in a situation where a kid is getting recruited, or you're able to make that transition from a junior college to a Division I or a junior college to a Division II. You already have these little nuggets that you can kind of pull from because you've already had a relationship with those coaches just by calling them and picking their brain. Okay. So those were a few things that I kind of wanted to just kind of hit on and kind of wrap up as we make this transition from it being in season and then making that transition to what the off season is going to look like. So hope this video was real informative. Like I said, I want to kind of touch base with everybody, man, and kind of get the conversations going again and let you know, man, we're going to be out here, man. I'm going to be pulling up on a lot of folks, getting a lot of information, building a lot more relationships with people, and using people as a resource. I'm a firm believer in, use me, mom, dad, player, coach, use me. Just don't misuse me. All right. And with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you for tuning into this episode, and I will catch you on the next video.